I've been trying since 2022 to describe an experience I had with Mother Nature and her reflection about the law of reciprocity. And she really showed me in a very unique and interesting way. And it's taken me, 3 years, 2022, because this is when the event first happened, to be able to talk about and share a perspective from her perspective, Mother Nature's perspective about the law of reciprocity. So back in 2022, I've been nomadic since 2018, and I was visiting friends and family in North Carolina, Black Mountain, North Carolina specifically. And I was told to go to this beautiful spiritual place called the You Are Light Center. And my exploration of playing with money and playing with abundance and figuring out what is true abundance. Because I know it's not the American dollar, I know it's not money, it's just a tool. But part of my incarnation and part of my healing has been healing my own money codes, right? Because I was born into a family of poverty. And so I know that DNA is fully embedded in me of the poverty consciousness, right? So I've been asking Mother Nature, Spirit, Earth, because she's so abundant. She's so naturally abundant. And I knew that there was this dissonance between, well, gosh, everything else is abundant. Why can I not allow myself to receive the abundance? What is so? I've asked Mother Nature, I've asked my guides, just please help me really understand what this whole law of reciprocity means, what it means to truly receive in the manner that I've given, and how does that work? Okay. And so let's go back to now the You Are Light Center. This is what came to me in 2022 by being out in nature. So I always love, before I go and commune with the nature spirits, before I enter any temple or any sacred land or any place I go, I like to bring an offering, whether it's just a flower or in this particular journey, I brought some sage because I was going to go to a part of the forest. It was kind of wet still, so I wasn't worried about forest fires. And of course, I properly grid myself when I'm in nature if I'm going to be using the fire element, right? Because fire is to be respected. But I wanted to bring in sage. I was told, my higher self said, bring in an offering to the space because it just felt good, right? It's kind of like you go to a friend's house for dinner and you want to bring over like a bottle of wine or a dessert, right? You're just being invited into their sacred space, and so you want to give an offering or a gift. Energy on a quantum level, as far as we've known, can never be created nor destroyed. And those who work with elemental energies, they know that, right? You take one thing and you turn it into another. So if you want to take, for example, you want to make an essential oil, you've got to take the plants, the shrubs, whatever it is you're working with, and there's a process to it, right? There is an alchemy process. You turn it from one thing into another. So it's not like things just appear out of the blue. It has to be alchemy. It has to be transformed. So with that preface, what my guides were showing me is think of you like a vessel, right? So we talk about going to the ocean, like we're the one drop of water in the ocean, and yet everything that's in the one drop of water is in everything, right? So what my guides were showing me is that just like this container, just like this glass here, this is the vessel, okay? The vessel is full and it's constantly overflowing. It's a toroidal field of energy. And they wanted me to show water because it's like a current. We talk about the seas of consciousness. Of those who've been playing with the realms of money, we know it's the banking system, it's currency, it's about the current, it's all tied into water. So just like this container here, we are the vessel. So pretend this is you, right? You're full of energy and you're full of this current, this currency, if you will, of energy. And it's constantly toroidal fielding out. It's constantly moving, just like a stream or a river or a waterfall, right? But it's full. It's constantly full. What they showed me and why donation-based businesses weren't working for me is because people didn't know how to receive my charge. Again, going back to current. See water, like this water, is just energy. It's just movement of energy. And we are all full of this energy. And when you want to receive somebody else's energy or somebody else's current, say, for example, this is a full container, this is somebody else's full vessel, right? So this is my container vessel, and this is somebody else's container vessel. And we want to exchange current. which is information, right? Water, light, data, it's information. But in order for us to receive the current of another, we have to make room in our own field of energy, right? So we've got to pour out some of our currency, our current of energy, into the other, pour it out to make room, right, for the other person's data, information, intel, current, for them to pour back into you, right? For them, literally, this is what nature was showing me, in order for them to charge your field, to be charged, you have to charge, right? You have to set up a code or a number vibration of the frequency amount that you want to charge somebody else's current of energy with your knowledge, with your insights, with what spirit has given you throughout the years. Donation is such a powerful tool, right? Because you want to give back to somebody that just charged your field with their current, with their energy, with their intel, with their wisdom, with what they have been able to experience in this reality. Okay. So again, as I'm, asking my guides, well, how can I charge? What's my worth? What number? How do I put a number on this? What do I do? And they showed me, they're like, just look at it like neutral. Like, you want to charge somebody else's current field with your energy, then you just put up a system and an amount that you know it's worth. So the time, the effort, the tools, the energy that I've spent on learning astrology and deep diving into this esoteric sort of realm, that's cost me a lot of my current, because it's cost me a lot of my time and energy and focus. And so now I'm ready to share that, right? I want to share it with people who are ready for this type of information, which is unity consciousness, it's radical oneness, it's all is self astrology. There's nothing outside of you that's happening that's not directly happening within you. So conceptualize for you guys why this law of reciprocity through nature, she was showing me, it's so effortless, it's so natural. Why we have a hard time receiving, or why my guide's saying I have a hard time receiving, is because there was still so much judgment and stories around money. Again, tying into the ancestral codes of lack, limitation. And so I've been asking my guides, how can I transcend this? How can I transmute this property, this energy within me, so that I can receive, so I can receive in the same manner that I give. I know how to give from the heart unconditionally, or I'm learning, at least I thought I did. But now I've got to take that and I've got to be able to pour into myself, magnetize that energy by willing to charge the field of current around me, and those that are ready to receive will have no problem saying, yeah, I'm ready to do this exchange with you. I'm ready to pour my current into you in monetary forms or a digital current, however it may be. And it doesn't always have to be money. It could be like, hey, I need my car fixed, or hey, I need something built or fit, Again, as long as there's a reciprocity that you put the value on, and then this is Venus and Aries right now, it's okay to value yourself. You need to know how your operating system works. You have to know that you are a current. You are a continual current of energy flowing and moving. And if you want to charge somebody else's field with your particular frequency, vibration, energy patterns, cymatics, you're part of the fractal to help evolve the consciousness of everybody, then it's okay to charge the field.